Hey, I'm NichBoy and welcome to Pocket. Well, today I'm at Hammerfall Publishing to check out Warhammer 40k Regicide. Hey Catherine, thank you very much for joining us. So, who are Hammerfall Publishing?
Hammerfall Publishing are an independent studio based here in Sydney, Australia. We're a small team, really passionate about Warhammer 40k.
Okay, so then what's your background?
Well, I've been in games for about just over 10 years now. I started in the industry as an artist, actually on Warhammer Online, funnily enough. I sort of worked my way up through the industry and I'm project lead now.
So you've pretty much taken like the Warhammer universe and you've put it on top of a board game. What was the thinking behind that?
Well, we actually wanted to take Regicide sort of one step further away from what would be standard chess and actually make a game that had some deep levels of strategy beyond that. So we have invited a few concepts from the universe itself into the actual gameplay as well. So after you take a movement, you get the chance to use initiative points. This means you can, snapshots, which is a sort of common term in the sort of universe for shooting, like casting grenades, but also using psychic abilities as well. Regicide is an interesting thing in a sense because it's actually from the Warhammer lore. It's written in several of the novels from the Black Library authors, including Dan Abnett, and I believe Nick Kay did one recently as well, which is really good.
So obviously chess has been around forever and they've tried to make other versions with like Chess 2.0 where they've got like other boards and stuff involved, but you guys have pretty much like added a layer of warfare on top of the strategy.
Chess is very overanalyzed. If someone takes a move, you can always see what the opponent's move is, and it's got sort of formulated. It's sometimes from memory. With Regicide, it's like rolling a dice. You don't actually know what's going to happen. You may shoot that and you may hit, but you may also lose. And I guess an interesting byproduct of that is that the game, you can't cheat because you don't know what the probabilities of those dice rolls are going to be in advance.
So obviously a huge part of chess is sort of thinking several moves ahead of your opponent. Now that you've got this whole other layer of strategy on top of it, is that something that you lose?
Well, I guess what it does is it brings in risk assessment into what you're playing. So like a poker player would, sort of figure out what is the greatest risk on that particular hand. That's what you're doing. So you're thinking a few moves in advance, but then you're thinking, if I move that there, you could kill, it would be the end in chess. But in Regicide, you could actually use that as a tactical advantage.
And obviously a big part of Warhammer is like the models and the characters and stuff. What did you guys do to make sure that that stuff stays in this game?
Well, obviously a lot of very precise detail on how they're produced, visually, but on top of that we had two stunt actors in a mocap studio fighting it out to create all of the animations. The mocap stunt actors were ex-military, trained, all from Australia and filmed here in Australia too.
So the game comes out next week in early access. What was the thinking behind that?
We really wanted to involve the players in our development. It's meant to be a community-based game and certainly multiplayer is a massive part of it. So by having an early access, it means that we can balance and test and actually grow with the community. So
you've got multiplayer. Do you have a single-player campaign in the game as well?
Absolutely. So the single player versus AI just as a quick mission, but also during early access, we're going to be delivering a campaign in 3 key acts. They're written by Ross Watson, sort of a well-penned 40k author, and on top of that, it's going to be narrated by Brian Dobson. So it's going to give you a great experience as you go between those missions.
I've detected an unusual sound.
And so what are the differences between like basic chess and Regicide?
So it's been compared with chess quite a bit, but it's actually very different. It'd be a lot easier for me to show you, so let's give it a try. We have 2 distinct different modes in here, and you can choose your own hero and your enemies, whether you play the orcs or against the Space Marines as well.
Yeah, cool. So you can play as the baddies.
That's correct.
Yeah, good stuff.
If you really wanted to. So the game has 2 very distinct sort of phases. Firstly, you can move a unit to make a capture. And secondly, you can perform a whole load of abilities. So
and those movements are like classic chess moves, like all the characters conform to that?
Absolutely. So next you get to do a series of different abilities. So here I'm using one of the area effect abilities, just to try and take out their king.
Could you kill the king with like a grenade and that would kill him, or do you need
Yeah.
to then capture him with a classic chess move as well? No?
No, you can absolutely kill him with an ability.
Weapon ready!
The game is entirely cross-platform, so you have one login account, and that'll allow you to not just log in on your base PC, but then, you know, if your friend comes over and they have a login, they can log into your PC and play their game.
Yep.
It saves all your data as well. In particular, with the multiplayer, you can have up to probably about 50 matches ongoing all in one go.
Right. Well, that's totally cracking into that whole words with friends, playing a game while you poo situation. That's where you're going to make your money. Trust me.
That is only a private with I don't poo.
For the Emperor!
I've also got player abilities, so a whole array of different things. Some of these will be available at early access, and some of them won't be.
Right, so this is you as the person controlling all these characters, like you've got extra stuff.
That's right. So you play as an off-board psychic unit, and you can cast a whole array of both mecha and various different things. So you can stun your units, or in this case, I'm going to be buffing one of my own by giving him a shield. Also, some of the abilities are sort of cheaper than others. So it depends. If you want to do a series of large abilities all in one succession, then it's a great time to unleash it then.
Right, okay. And so, like, all this ability stuff obviously was not in the original version of chess. This is the game as you sort of intend, but like I understand you've also got like a chess mode, like pure chess.
That's correct. So we do have a straight up chess variant if that's what people are interested in, and again that's sort of fully cross-platform multiplayer too.
Cool. All right, Catherine, well, thank you very much for showing me that and talking through everything. The game looks really cool, and it comes out next week.
That's correct. So Tuesday, 2 a.m.
2 a.m. Right, okay. So you'll all be up, just completely nervous and a train wreck, really.
Anyone wants to bring me a coffee? Please.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. And that's it for today's episode of Pocket. So NichBoy out.